What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back, and welcome to the Pitch and Music. Rocco, brothers.
Hello.
Hello, fellow rock stars. We are back to conclude our finale, which wasn't obviously concluded last time, because I never know when this shit's going to finish. But I will say one thing for sure. I think it might finish today.
You can't.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
I did that. I did that.
No, you're not allowed. You're not allowed to say one thing's for sure. I think.
I'm allowed to butcher my own language. God damn it. Now the question is, I think we're going to forego any mini games today. I'm going to pour a little bit more beer out. That's not me urinating. And the question is, where do we start? Should we a brief recap? I could say. Obviously, you should read Mr. Matt's comment for a more comprehensive recap. But the last half hour of the last session was pretty much murder and mayhem as. Outside, Dietlev had committed one of the priests to expelling the demons from their guts and was later decapitated by him. Joris, apologies, Gaspard. This is because I don't have the names on the screen. Oh no, I do. Never mind. Swiftly dispatched Otto, who was outside grovelling for help, having confessed that he may have kind of mistaken which god had spoken to him and given him an offering due to basically being on the dirt face down grovelling, and he may have put some Cornish demon blood inside the Sacramento.
Cornish.
I know, I couldn't help it. So and that's. Yeah, fortunately everyone avoided the Cornish accents, which would have made the campaign much more intense. And Gaspard had been flailing and wailing and slicing and dicing a bunch of demons and is currently being faced off outside with a greater demon. Yes, it's ridiculous, I know, but he's rolling really well, so we're rolling with it. And two corn hounds, and I think there might be a bloodletter there as well. So he's got basically a mosh pit he's having fun in. Dagmor had dragged Otto inside, Otto having a hole in his head and a hole through his heart, as his heart was broken by Gaspard, as only a Bretonnian could do. And I believe Dietlev, having been the first to more sensibly retreat, put, let's say, Rosa, a talking head of Alessandro, and a very confused Martina, which we didn't quite have time to roleplay because there's too much going on, but a very confused, scared, frantic, and bewildered Martina in the east wing, upper floor. They have shut the door, to which point Dietlev had turned around and spied himself a Sacramento-fueled demonic demon hunter, and is currently running away successfully.
Brave Sir Robin.
Brave Sir Robin is running away, and you were successful in your first test. Dagmor is sort of hauling Otto up the steps with one demonic whip lashing at his back. It did connect, but our not-so-young dwarf survives. The question is, gentlemen, do we start with Gaspard or Dietlev?
I'm interested in how things go for Gaspard, honestly.
Okay.
Dietlev's just running away. He's running away somewhere specific, but he's running away,
I quite like saving Dietlev to last, because he's often
unexpected.
Unexpected and yeah, let's just leave it at that. Yeah. Unexpected and good to end on for various storytelling reasons.
What it says on his Tinder profile.
Exactly. So we have our mosh pit. We have effectively in the middle of this courtyard Gaspard with, a rapier and a dagger, if I'm correct?
Yeah, a lot of blood.
Okay.
Not much of it is.
I'll allow you, Gaspard, to paint the picture as the greater demon has just turned around from wailing and flailing with a very, very large demonic sword on the roof of this building and has just turned around as you caught its attention. So you've got 2 dogs and a bloodletter. Just give me a little feeler on what the current stance is.
Well, I will do it like a narrative inside voice of Gaspard.
It's contagious.
At you doggies, you filthy demons. Come have it. Come have it. Come have old Gaspard. I will slice you up. Why are you not fighting anymore? Huh? What is that?
And Gaspard turns around and he sees the ginormous demon standing there looking at him, head maybe a little tilted, just to say, what is this little man? And
You have noticed little Gaspard, no? Well, demon, what say you?
and he takes up rowdy stance.
Okay.
I'm assuming that at this point the demon bows forward.
Yes, and to recap, the 2 dogs had begun snarling and hissing at each other, but the moment this demon had turned around, their obedience was made clear, as for the bloodletter that has lowered its sword down by its side like a frustrated teenager and sort of lankily stepped backwards while maintaining a degree of frustrated eye contact with you, occasionally hissing, but eyes somewhat subdued. The larger and, let's say, more noteworthy of the demons at this point lowers its head down to you, and it's almost looking directly at its toes as you are about the height of its kneecap. And one of the very large hands at this point extends down towards you, almost looking like it's reaching to grab you, but with its sort of palm facing you. What are you going to do?
He's going to
What is this?
he lowers his weapon and walks towards the hand.
The hand continues to open up for a second, the fingers extending as it finishes perhaps 1 yard from you. And then the fingers just flex a little bit, scrunching together before opening again, and you catch sight of a very large vein that runs up the centre of this palm. You see pulsating that strong, fiery red and yellow.
Do not mind if I do.
And he pierces his dagger or his foil. Probably he slices with his dagger and he licks the blood.
Okay. Small amount of blood left on. It's sticky. Black in colour once it's outside of the creature, but with small flecks of fire within it, as if it's some sort of fuse. Warm, incredibly. Heated so. Burns like a whiskey. The vein opens and the index finger curls round to then tear open, cut a little further, at which point the hand raises above you and the fist begins to just squeeze.
By your blood, it will give me the strength to rain down vengeance upon everyone in Bretonia, the nincompoop knights and the silly peasants alike.
And he steps into this gushing of blood.
Okay, it's effectively a shower. And gushing is normally a word I refrain from using, but today is one of the few exceptions where it is appropriate. It's like bucket after bucket after bucket just trickles down till you are just red. It's going to cover your vision. It's going to be difficult not to get inside your lungs at this point. What are you doing?
He's just standing there, hands raised, basking in it, laughing insanely, which I will not do too loud because there's tiny boys sleeping here.
Fair enough. We can imagine. At which point the hand will move away. Probably 5 good seconds of showering. You see a degree of steamy mist coming out of both nostrils of this bull-like face. Still looking down at you. Occasionally puffing out a sort of a bellow of smoke. The head sways back to the temple. And how do you feel about a willpower test?
Yeah. Seems appropriate. Wrong key. Challenging, I'm assuming, so...
Yeah. Okay.
How is that? What?
Advantage, I think, carried over from last time, I assume.
But it was a pass anyway.
It was a pass anyway, indeed. So, all I will say is that there is a temptation to lay waste, but you're in control of your faculties. It's a temptation, and there are perhaps, or there may be perhaps, room for conflicting thoughts. So, what, with that in mind, do you think Gaspard's mind turns to?
Some inner dialogue.
Everyone in Bretonia shall tremble. I will kill them all those high and mighty hypocrites, and the lowly peasants. But Elisa, what have I done?
He's thinking about the little girl inside the temple.
Okay. The demon starts walking toward the chapel, presumably with you also running between its legs.
Mm-hmm.
Good. There is a couple turns head start for those inside. So, gentlemen, Dietliff perhaps has a little time to kill because Gaspard had spent quite a while trying to drag Otto up the steps. So Dietliff...
Gaspard or Dagmord?
Dagmord, apologies, had spent some time dragging Otto up the steps, who was at the door grovelling. You had already run past him by that point, Dietliff, so let's come to your chase so we don't get too out of sync here. Now, last I recall, you had started to sprint, jumped over the banister after luring the bloodletter upstairs, and you'd made ground heading downstairs and away from it. Where are you going and what are you doing?
I'm heading towards the what's it called, the place where sick people are kept.
The infirmary. Yes.
There you go, infirmary.
The infirmary. Okay, it's not far to go. The door is already open, seeing as the bloodletter had just burst through it. The moment you arrive through, you see sleeping peacefully on the bed Elise, on one of the first beds, the small young child you've not really had chance to meet yet, but there's something more pressing right now, which is a demon chasing you. It's about 3 to 4 yards behind, and you've got like a 15 to 20 yard wing to sprint down with several beds lining the side, several pillars dotted along, tables, chairs, chests.
Okay.
What's happening?
My first thought is, how much effectiveness could closing the door as I go through have for me in terms of buying time?
Well, Bloodletters aren't famous for their ability to open doors, so this one is more like 3 bits of hanging wood.
Right, so the door is not a factor.
It's yeah, yeah, indeed. There might be a bit of wood to throw at him, but
I don't see that slowing him down longer than it would take for me to pick up and throw.
there is a cupboard next to the wall, next to the door. It's going to take something close to a miracle for you to quickly shift it over in about 3 seconds, but
yeah,
I mean, what's your thoughts?
Let's go for where I want to say Alessandro, but that's not his name. Giuseppe was. Let's go like just straight shot, straight for his
straight
bed
shot, sprint
and
down.
where his stuff was.
Okay, roll me an average athletics, please.
Alrighty doodle. Hopefully, I can get a little bit of a head start.
A bit of ground on this would be very useful. So.
Oh, do I re-roll that for more?
Let's see what he does first. Okay, so he's going to be about 1 yard behind you with it as is. How do you feel about... Effectively, he's gained 2 yards on you from like 5 yards behind you, so you've got about half a second advantage currently.
I'm not going to get much of an advantage even if I do better.
There's always resilience for a manual result if you feel it's something that warrants it, but the choice is yours.
No, I'm just gonna keep head down, running for the bed. When I get there,
yep,
I'm going to essentially spin round and like with my side. I'm not gonna try and hit him, but I'm gonna try and keep distance from him.
Okay.
Using the side as like a...
Right. Okay, so you effectively want to give yourself some space with a swing. Okay, so we're going for a hardcore sprint, a quick pivot of 180 degrees, and a wide arcing swipe.
Yes.
I think we can simply roll your weapon on your combat tab, and let's see how you do there. And I will roll a initiative roll to see if this creature can cope. Let's say.
Right. Just regular challenging.
Just a regular for now.
Oof. Oh.
I would say you're not trying to hit him, so that could be factored in. You do technically win, so it's enough to at least cause his head to whip back, just to try and avoid this scythe blade that's coming sort of hurtling towards it. So it's mainly kind of bought you a split second. What would you like to do with that?
I'm gonna glance around the bed very quickly, just to see if I can see any gear or things or...
Satchel on the bed, notepad sprawled open, and the satchel is kind of on its side, kind of hard to see inside it from your angle, but its flap is open effectively.
Okay. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to have the time to go through anything with this.
I'd say the satchel is probably... It's more like a small briefcase in size, and so it's hard to know what exactly is in it. It's over the bed from you, if that makes sense. So I'm just trying to paint a reasonable view of it.
Okay.
So the satchel's basically kind of just behind you, on the bed. Demon in front of you.
Yeah. Okay. So I was like, I'd like to take a defensive approach to this.
Yep.
Because I don't think going heel to heel will end well for me.
Okay. So you just want to kind of stay alive for a moment.
Well, what I was planning on doing was asking if I could essentially use my quarterstaff to parry literally anything he throws at me while I try and channel a spell.
Sure.
However, I don't have parry, so I kind of feel like
it would be a plus 20 defensive roll with your weapon.
Yes.
Just to focus on parrying first. So we'll
parry's a skill, right?
No.
It's
technically just you just use your weapon to defend.
Oh, okay.
So nice and simple.
In that case, yeah, I would. I thought parry was a skill. I was like, I don't have parry, so I can't.
Yeah, it's a weapon class and such, but to defend with a weapon, deflecting blows, not trying to hit the enemy would just be a plus 20. So, yeah, let's have your roll. You do have one advantage. I'll factor that in afterwards, but it would be a plus 10 modifier effectively. Or you can add it in.
Do I just roll standard?
You can change the difficulty to average, which is one way of adding plus 20, or you can just change the modifier to 20. Either or. Okay, that's an incredibly good hit. Okay, that's a pretty good hit. That's a pretty good counter.
Unfortunately, I wasn't trying to hit him.
Yeah.
I was just trying to hold him off, so I wouldn't have gone for any hits.
But you rolled a 4, which is basically to say that falls into the category of one of the better results possible. So, as this blade is being held two-handed, is basically going for a clean swipe from left to right in the middle of your torso. Describe to me what happens to interfere with this blade's path.
I imagine Dietlev would kind of move out of the path of it at the same time as hooking the blade with the scythe, just to kind of carry its trajectory where he wants, kind of whip it around.
Yep. Okay, you do so. I will say, given your result, it puts it off balance for a moment. So you've maybe bought yourself a second, maybe a second and a half till the next attack. So, what are you thinking? Spellcasting, rummaging?
I'd like to go for entangle.
Okay. You'd like to entangle. Go right ahead. Make me that entangle roll. You can have a plus 20 as you begin to sort of bellow the words out.
Is this cast or channel?
Let's go for... I'm just going to look at the difficulty because that will help inform me. I say, given my feelings on the magic system, I'd say I don't really mind whatever's higher, but let's go for
4, isn't it?
Yeah, but let's go for channel, I think, because it's a DN of 6. So
he doesn't have it memorized then.
No, it's all in the grimoire. He's not a real wizard yet.
And just straight up standard challenging
Yes. Plus 20, sorry, with all of your advantage. And one small downside to this casting is that you will need to access your book to finish the spell.
Okay.
Because these spells aren't memorized.
My intention is, unfortunately, because I think I may have been able to do significant damage to him just from that previous roll, but the intention is to stay on the defensive.
Yeah.
While this is happening, so I imagine it to be, like,
yeah,
reasonably. You said something about resilience?
Yeah, resilience can effectively, you can choose your dice roll, so you can just basically edit that to like a natural 1 if you wish.
Yes, please.
It's a permanent resource, but it's it's here for such situations where you really need it. And in this situation, that would allow you. I will make an exception because you used a resilience to say that although maybe not with extreme confidence, this is perhaps the first time you've ever got this spell off untrained without supervision of your book, your grimoire. So congratulations, you now know the spell off by heart, or at least when chased by a demon. So that being said, the spell is successful, so describe for me what happens.
So kind of, I imagine coming from the shadows of the beds and furniture around this this demon, like the shadows just kind of turn into tentacles and start like wrapping around its legs and like slowly going up its body, like detaching from the floor and wrapping around its arms, just to basically like hold it in place and restrict its movements as best as possible.
Okay, marvellous. Now, I'm going to go to Dagmore for a turn or two, and then we're going to wrap you up, okay?
Okay. Much like I wrapped the demon up.
I liked how I set that up. I'm just saying. Dagmore, you've arrived inside the main entrance, probably some 10 to 15 seconds ahead of Gaspard. Now, you have Otto there with you, and you can hear the quick footsteps downstairs. You can also hear battling in the courtyard of Gaspard behind you. Followed by silence. What would you like to do? Interrupting the silence is, of course, Otto there. Mercy, mercy.
Keep your head on there, Otto. Got to get you some help.
And I'm just gonna drag him toward the room where I assume it's a sealed door currently barred from the inside, where Rosa, Martina, and the head of
you can hear chanting coming out of there from Alessandro's head, so it's unmistakable as to where they are.
Safe bet. Yeah, I'm gonna drag Otto over that way and give the door a couple of kicks and say, "It's Dagmore, open up. Got a wounded guy here."
You hear a bolt move on the door. You hear a very slow shifting oak beam that was probably barred in front of it. The door sort of tentatively opens with Marguerite there. What's going on? There's a head that keeps talking, and Rosa keeps being sick, and
it's a bit of a mess, ma'am. Long story short, little girl got some kind of healing powers, and we're in some kind of other side of a piece of paper world, and nobody seems to be able to stay dead, and even when they lose their head. And anyway, we got to keep Rosa safe. Got to keep you safe, and I'm here. Bring Otto in here. He's
Oh, Otto.
Well,
she's just looking and fixated on the fact he's got a hole in his head.
Yeah, and I kind of take the time to finally inspect him for the first time. I haven't really looked at him yet, other than the fact that just knowing he's hurt. Does he look pretty damn hurt to me?
Okay. Without going into too much graphics, imagine one of the eye has been replaced with scrambled egg. and just a profuse amount of blood falling out of it. And with that, a fair degree of bleeding from a small, like, needle incision on the left side of his chest that seems to be bleeding profusely.
Otto, if I leave you here, you promise to stay in this room?
I give him a shake.
Otto!
He recoils for a moment. Of course, brave warrior. Defend us.
Damn right I will.
And I'm going to just give him kind of a little toss shove into the room.
Okay.
And I'm going to step back and say,
Martina, I don't know what's going on with Gaspard. He's the one who done this to poor Otto, unprovoked. Be wary.
And with that, I don't have time to say anything else. I'm going to take off after where I saw D-Lev
The
going.
door slams straight away afterwards. Just as you're making your way across this corridor, there is a very loud thud on the roof. A few of the tiles come crashing down. Could you make me a dodge roll, please?
My specialty. Let's
Yeah.
see, 1 second.
Challenging dodge, please, not to just get bonked on the head and killed by a tile. You've
yeah,
got 0
I think
wounds as well, don't you?
I think it's a guaranteed hit.
Oh,
'cause,
shit.
18, so 20. So I think it's impossible unless I get a 1, I guess, or a 5. Hold on a second. Dodge.
Are you fatigued, or make it average?
No, that's my natural.
You've got a 1 in
Okay.
5 chance of not getting concussion.
Okay, average is okay,
Yeah.
challenging is zero.
Let's
Okay,
go
gotcha.
average. They're roof tiles.
Okay.
They're quite big.
I'll do.
Use one of your rerolls.
Yeah, I'll use my 1 fortune point.
Okay.
Let's see. I'll do a dark deal.
Okay, do a dark deal. Let's see what you can do. I mean, it's only a crit.
Even
Okay.
worse.
Okay. I won't let this result be above 50. But I do want to see what happens. Do you mind clicking crit head, please?
Oh, yes. Here we go.
Okay, ignore that one. Just keep rolling till you get under 50.
Oh, okay.
Fuck it, we'll stick with major ear wound. The fates have decided. Oh, good lord. Okay, so... Do you have any resolve left, by the way?
No, it's all. Well, wait, resolve?
Yeah.
I think I do, actually.
Okay.
Let me check.
You may need it.
Yeah, I think I'll save it because that won't kill me.
Okay. Well, this won't kill you, but it is going to knock you out without a resolve point. Basically, as you're running through this room, a large cluster of tiles falling from the ceiling, and you just about make out a two-handed blade sort of slashing at the roof of this building. One of these tiles just lands and cracks you straight on the left ear. It has like that high-pitched bell ringing sound, causing you to stagger, and I'm going to say it's going to be hard to keep yourself right. So are you happy using resolve to effectively stay standing?
Yeah, I'll use point resolve.
Actually, fuck it, we're in hell, no need.
Okay.
You just may pass out at the other end. Yeah, so you're really dizzy, disorientated, and you can't hear anything in your left ear, but what would you like to do?
Yeah, I clutch my ear, kind of wince, but I know what I need to do. I might hate that damn wizard, but yeah, he needs my help right now. He sure as shit can't take care of himself, so
Okay.
I'm gonna go charging in the hall in his direction.
Okay, at which point, Gaspard, you open the door, just to see the tail end of Dagmore running down the stairs. What are you doing?
Gaspard at this time is conflicted. On the one hand, he has visions of grandeur with him wading through the blood of hypocritical knights and ignorant cultural barbarians, peasants. And on the other hand, there's Elisa still, and Otto is just so annoying, whimpering fool. he represents everything he hates about the Bretonian society.
Okay.
So, should I do a willpower check to see?
You can do whatever you like. I'd say that you would likely hear Otto occasionally pleading mercy in the midst of Alessandro chanting a prayer, in the midst of the sound of a small girl vomiting. There's quite the symphony of auditory senses going on right now, or auditory pleasures. So, by all means, roll a test if you like.
Let's see. Let us see. So he goes after the glimpse of Otto he sees.
Okay, the door is shut currently. You go up to the door. What do you do?
Bang on it loudly.
Who is it?
It is me. Is that silly Otto there?
Yes. You
Bring
did
him
that.
out.
Did you do that to his eye?
Yes, he is the devil.
You hear Martina tell Otto to run and hide. Somewhat foolish, given that it's an empty room.
You silly girl. He has cursed you. Do you not know it?
Dagmar said you did that to him for whatever reason, but we can talk about this when you've calmed down.
No talking.
Starts banging at the door.
Make a strength roll, please. Challenging. It's a fairly hefty door. I'll set the expectation that 1 SL probably won't be a pass.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be a decent dent in the wood as you begin to sort of hammer at it. Are you shoulder barging or kicking or both?
Hacking at it.
Okay.
And shoulder.
Okay.
It.
You're making your way through. It's going to take a little bit, but you're getting there. Now, we're going to flip. We're going to flop. And we're going to shimmy, we're going to slide, and buy some time while I find the right map. There we go. And we return to Deedlev, who now has an entangled devil in front of him, currently hissing and screeching the most awful serpentile sound as it tries to free itself. Deedlev, what are you doing?
I make an observation or essentially see what I essentially want to see something very quickly, like how much Deedlev has taken on for this demon.
Okay.
In terms of intelligence, how much intelligence has it displayed? Like, it's fine if it's literally just like there hasn't been enough time, you haven't looked at them long enough, you don't know.
You can roll me an average intuition.
Okay.
Just to see your reading of this creature.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's terrible.
Okay. Rerolls are available, but of course, not many people are that experienced with body.
Oh, I didn't.
Yep.
Rerolls is fortune, right?
Yes, they will have reset.
Yes. Sorry, there we go. I think I'm on 3.
Sure.
No,
Would be 1 more than your fate normally,
Oh,
because
then
you're
4.
lucky.
I am lucky. Let's do this.
Let's see how lucky.
Wait, I did it wrong.
Okay, so that was +1 SL. So add your fortune point back, right-click it, and do reroll.
And do reroll instead. I can't do a reroll.
Okay, just roll it again.
Okay.
We will understand the demon. It could be
I will
pivotal.
understand you.
It could be pivotal. No.
No, I understand it less than the first time I took a glimpse.
I would say there is a dark invitation there to gain some insight into what it's thinking for a free reroll. but it will be a corruption point with it.
Ooh,
Putting you out on 7 out of 7.
Gonna go for it. Just it's fine. I'm
Okay.
not gonna. In that case, Dietlev is going to go for a decapitation.
Okay.
Essentially, he's just gonna try and swing his scythe. Now that it's in his mind slightly less it's a bit more restrained, hopefully.
Yep.
So,
Okay. You can basically make an easy swing with your scythe.
okay. I'm gonna re-roll that. Not because I didn't fail. Wait.
You didn't fail because it's versus. Technically, you can't re-roll a past test. But in this instance, I'm gonna call that rule as bollocks and let you re-roll it anyway. So just roll it again.
Thank you. I'll roll it again and take off.
Technically, you can only re-roll failed tests, but for the sake of coolness, I disagree with that rule right now.
That, and then that takes off the fortune point.
That was a 12.
Well,
That's better.
That. So I Oh wait, did I re-roll?
Yes, you re-rolled. You rolled a 12 out of 102, which was slightly better.
Oh, yay.
Okay, it's going to be enough to take its left arm off from where you've hit. I mean, I would allow you to probably go for the head if you wish. It is... yes, we do have it as a quarterstaff and not a scythe, so the damage would normally be a fair bit higher. Okay, it's going to basically lodge the scythe halfway into the creature's neck. Not quite full decapitation, but like its head is hanging on by a thread. It's demons, so it's kind of like you're not kind of sure if it's alive or dead, but it's kind of... let's say less resisting the tendrils now that are grabbing it, and more kind of trying to right its own head.
Yeah, okay.
So you've successfully bought yourself some extra time. What would you like to do?
I would like to. How is it possible to get it out and do another swing, or is it much more likely gonna be easier just to keep wiggling? It's basically trying to get
soaring it back and forth. I'll give you a choice. Do you want to start soaring back and forth, or do you want to try and pull it out for another swing? I'd say either one are probably going to be an average strength roll.
It's still restrained, it's still wrapped up, right?
Yeah.
In that case, because I'm facing it and it's obviously facing me.
Yeah.
Can I, still holding the scythe?
Yeah.
Can I run around the side of it?
Okay, while holding the scythe.
And because my strength is not good. I'm not gonna do a test of, I'm not gonna go for a test of strength.
Sure.
If I can avoid it.
Sure.
My thought is it may still be a test of strength, but if I use momentum, I can maybe get a little bit of extra.
Okay.
As I run around it. And...
Let's do that as an average athletics instead, then. Which is slightly more favourable for you.
It is. And I'm not running away, so I'm not...
which is basically to... like tying the rope around, was it the 80-80 or 80-ST, but only while carrying a scythe.
Except for with a scythe and on someone's head.
Yes, indeed. but the visuals are very similar.
Yes. I'm also making meow noises as well. Challenging?
Yeah, challenging. Average. I lied.
Oh,
but we'll add it on afterwards. It's fine. It is out of 60, so it is.
No but.
Yeah, that is a no but. So it's like.
I will.
One last reroll.
Reroll, yes.
Okay.
Shall I just re-roll?
Just roll it again if you like, if it's easier.
Okay. Come on, do better than 67.
That's better.
20!
Okay. That will be enough to cleave right the way through its neck. I'll allow you to describe for me what you do, how it looks, what's going on. Sell it to me.
Yeah, so, Dietlev, pauses for a second, and it's kind of, it's stuck in the thing's neck, and he's for a second he just tries to wiggle it, and then like runs around the side of it, like dragging the scythe as it kind of like slightly spins around with it, cutting like a little circle around the thing's neck, and then just like hops on a bed, jumps off the bed, and like drags the scythe down as he comes out, as he lands like behind the demon, and just like drags the scythe with it, just about scraping and managing to like decapitate the thing.
Glorious. And with that, finally, the hissing and snarling of this creature fades as it bursts into flames and turns into ash in front of you that slowly disintegrates into dust. And that is also the sight that Dagmor has as he rushes in the room to assist. Firstly, Dagmor.
Shit.
Elisa in front of you on the bed, sleeping relatively safe. Bed's a little bit scorched and there's a bit of fire starting around it. But to your side, Dietliv, having just decapitated a demon.
Yeah, I take a moment just to stare at Dietliv and the burning ashes of the demon as it disintegrates, with a look of shock on my face, before I recall what we're needing to do. And I glance over at Elisa, and I'll kind of rush over and scoop her up and say,
Dietliv, we gotta protect these folks.
Yes, I'm just going to go and check the former demon hunters' stuff to see if there's anything useful we could use.
Good idea. Right, I'm gonna go back to the barred room and drop off Elisa, and you, me, and Gaspard can fight off any stragglers.
I'll be there momentarily. Just give me 1 second.
All right.
and I'm gonna start heading back with my steady little legs.
As Dagmor starts heading back, Dietlev, like, very calmly walks over to the bed, like, looks down at the open thing, then collapses onto the bed, like, sits down, and just starts shaking as, like,
Dagmor will never know.
Yeah, he just takes a good, like, 20 seconds to fully fucking freak out.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And Dagmor's got Elisa at this point carrying her back.
Okay. You grab Elisa, you come up the stairs. Gaspard is in front of you, wailing and flailing and hammering on a door.
I'm just standing there, kind of confused, watching silently off to the side.
Here's Gaspard. That's basically the scene.
I kind of start to kind of back away slowly, hoping he hasn't noticed me.
Gaspard, as you've been there, average dodge roll, please. The roof is starting to cave in and collapse on you. This is just for the sort of 10 seconds or so that you've been battering on the door.
Yep.
Okay, an easy step to the side, predictable. There's almost, as you look up and see these tiles falling down and these patches in the ceiling above, you catch a small glimpse of this deity's face that almost just acknowledges you there before continuing to hammer and flail on, well, what's left of this roof. Inside the door is the sound of the prayers being... well, they've stopped. You can hear some muffling and some mumbles. Martina is basically stood the other side of the door from you, Gaspard, as you can feel her shoulder against it. You can feel her body weight sort of attempting to bar it, although, let's say, trying to avoid any blows of blades. And you can hear Otto flailing and wailing. And Rosa, it doesn't sound like there's any vomiting noises.
Get out of the way, woman! Let me in! Let me at that low life.
I'm not...
His time has come.
In between thuds, I'm not going to let you... kill him.
It was him that brought the devils here, don't you know?
I'm gonna say, Gaspard, what are you doing?
Stay out of it, Dagmar. Bring Elisa away from here. What are you doing?
I'm putting her in there. We're safe.
You're not safe here. The roof is collapsing.
Where is safe if not there?
Away from here, as far as possible.
I look very confused at this point. I'm just kind of looking from him and back over my shoulder from where I was with Dietlev. We're kind of unsure what to do for the first time in a while.
Go and see if, I don't know. Go, just go.
Does it look like he's getting through the door?
It's been a little while, so yes.
Gaspard, you can cut that out. Stop hitting that door, or I'm gonna have to do something about it.
I am going to get that Otto. He needs to... What?
Got him already. Through the eye and through the heart. He ain't getting back up from that.
I say, kind of admitting it to myself.
He is still walking around. I mean...
You saw Isabella? Nothing keeps an Umga down here. Hey, you think Alessandro's still talking? He ain't got a damn head. Dietlev made sure of that.
If it influences your intelligence test at all, for better or worse, after that brief exchange of words, Otto begins commenting on the subject. Mainly to Martina, you suppose his voice is directed, but please, let him take me. I'm not worthy. Please, let me be sacrificed.
Martina, don't do it.
Gaspard throws his hands up in the air and screams loudly. And one last thud at the door. Then looks around to see if there's like a way out or something.
Follow me. We gotta get out of here.
Like sans direction.
I gotta wait on Dietlev. I'll see you. We'll I gotta bring him up to speed. You go on ahead.
Gaspard. Dagmar's completely unaware of this, but there's a tile coming down towards him. A portion of the roof is collapsing. I will kill this dwarf by tile.
But he's carrying Elisa, right?
He's carrying Elisa in his arms. Ooh. You could probably make it average.
Yeah, but then it's
It's
minus
still
3.
a fail.
And he does want to. Well, you know, let's do a reroll. Yeah, he jumps towards you, mostly grabbing Elisa and pulling her away from the tile.
Okay. As a note, the praying has stopped and there's no other noise coming from that room now.
I'll hit the door a couple times and say,
Rosa, do that thing, the bell thing. We need you to do the bell thing. Quick.
I don't do the bell. Chalia does. And I'm scared.
Martina, comfort Rosa and tell her to ask Shalia to make the bell ring, please.
Then she did.
Yeah, she can do her dance.
In between that, you can hear lots of muffled sounds like someone speaking into a sock. It sounds, you presume it's Alessandro. What are you going to do?
Can't make out a lick of what he's saying. Y'all all right there?
Just a quick sidebar, Hydra.
Yep.
Dietlev would check the demon hunter's stuff
Okay.
before coming back, so it'll be a little bit of time, but
Okay.
he's not going to dawdle after he's had his freak out.
There is a gun, a dagger, some salt, and a rapier by the side of the bed.
Not sure how useful any of these are, so screw it. Just gonna bundle them up, take them, and head.
Gun being a pistol, sorry.
Yes.
Sure. And his journal.
I'll take the journal. Just like throw it. It's like a bag, right? Kind of.
Yeah. The journal's currently like face down in the bed. As you pick it up and turn it over, it's basically kind of got scribbled on what looks like blood.
All work and no play makes
Suspecto.
elderly man.
I'm afraid.
Suspecto.
Suspecto Sacramento. Now, okay, so Dietlev will be joining imminently.
Yes.
So we'll say Dietlev at this point arrives, bag in tow, to see Dagmar and Gaspard stood outside of the door. Gaspard no longer violently assaulting it, and Dagmar holding Eliza close to the door's entrance. And meanwhile, bash, thud, bash on the walls, on the ceiling. This place is starting to cave in. Objects that are falling are getting larger.
What is the delay?
Well, Gaspar's had a bit of a temper tantrum against the door and wanting to kill Otto.
But also is dead.
Yeah.
It seems so, but this place is fucked up and he's still aggravating me with his stupid, annoying voice.
Well, what do we do then? Because this place seems to be coming down, but everywhere outside seems to be covered in flames and that big thing's out there.
Well, I would assume that the way we left previously would possibly work. Additionally, there is the possibility of Rosa or getting us out however Rosa did before.
Well, I mean, we didn't do the candle trick to come over here, though, so, but, yeah, I suppose we can try it. Ain't no harm in it. Seems we're dead if we go outside, and we're dead if we stay in.
Alright, here is, the Demon Hunter's belongings. You might be able to find something useful in there. And I go to the door. Rosa?
Yes,
I think it's time to leave, don't you?
I want to go. I'm scared.
You don't want to go?
No, I want to go. I'm scared. And my tummy hurts.
Well, let's go then.
I can't stand up. I've been throwing up. Bleh.
Right.
Bleh.
However, time is minority of the of imminence, so if you could just summon what strength you can and see to it that we get out of here, you can rest afterwards. And that is a promise. Just a little bit more.
There's a click the other side of the door as Martina sort of looks at you cautiously for a moment before letting the door slide open. Basically, Rosa is curled up on the floor. She's kind of surrounded by blood. It's all over her mouth. A mixture of that and perhaps some vomit too. It's pretty gross. Beside her is the bucket where this mumbling is coming from, which is the bucket that contained Alessandro's head.
Yeah, I'm going to lead the way in, pull out the piece of chalk from my sack, and I'm going to draw a fairly large circle in the middle of the room, easily large enough for all of us to fit inside.
Okay. Side note: the thumping is now above your heads in this room.
Yeah.
Drawing faster.
Okay. Everyone, roll me a. See you in 5 minutes. We're going to take a big a brick bio. We're going to take a brick bio. Fuck yeah.
Hey,
As we
he's laying a brick
brick
about now.
bio. Yeah. Fucking dodge rolling coming. Get shreked. All right. We'll see you in 5 minutes, folks. let's go. Right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the delay, slight technical problems here because Foundry doing dipshit stuff. Okay, gentlemen, we have Gaspard drawing a circle on the floor, if I remember correctly.
I think I was wrong.
Dagmord. That makes more sense. Where's Elisa? What did you do with her?
I guess in that case I just would have set her on the floor gently, or
No,
I guess
Gaspard is
Taz,
holding it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, Gaspard
Okay,
have her.
Gaspard is holding her, the person with dodge. Dietlev has arrived with equipment in hand. What is Dietlev doing?
I kind of set the equipment down essentially, and I'd gone to talk to Rosa, so I was just by that.
Okay, you were talking to Rosa. Okay, that's where we're at currently when crack, crunch, ginormous thud on the ceiling. It looks like a beam is about to fall down on you. One of the central joists holding up the roof above. Can I have an average dodge from everyone, please?
Question.
Yes.
Instead of a dodge, could Dietlev essentially umbrella over Rosa? Because she's not going to be able to dodge.
You could umbrella. You could try and drag her to the side with like an athletics, if that's preferable. Or you can just kind of like take it.
I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll do a dark deal.
Okay, do a dark deal. Let's see how you do. I believe in you. There you go. That's handy because this is quite big. Dagmord and Gaspard pass. I would say as you see it coming down towards you, we're looking like a 2x4 piece of wood dropping from like a 10-foot height. So, pretty big. Happy to stomach it, Dietlev?
Yeah.
Sure. Can you type... can you type that without the dot for me, please? That is 17 points of damage, minus after your toughness. So basically it may just straight up knock you out, in which case we roll the crit. How many hit points do you have?
I'm not sure if I'm on 11 currently. I don't know if that's changed since.
Okay, yeah, no, this will certainly knock you out. So
Yeah.
It's not a guaranteed kill by a long stretch, and you're in hell. So can you hit location for me on that chart? Body, and can you click crit body for me, please? A gut wound. Ooh, that's quite a nasty one. 2 bleeding conditions. As this catches the side of your abdomen as it falls down, you successfully shield Rosa down on the floor, and you now have a large gash in your abdomen that is just profusely bleeding blood. You're kind of surprised you're still upright and okay, but...
Wait, I'm not unconscious?
No, strangely.
Okay.
Which is, yeah, bizarre. Ordinarily, you would be. Or any person would be. So, the other two of you successfully dodge and get out the way. Circle completed. What are you all doing?
I'm taking the bucket with Alessandro's head, putting it in the circle. I'm taking Otto's body and dragging it in the circle, and telling everyone,
Everybody sit down in a circle. Gotta get out of here.
Okay. Everyone jump in the circle?
Stand in the circle.
I wouldn't say jump, like reasonably
Yeah.
delicately.
Okay. Yeah, you gingerly step into the circle. You step in and there's a wait. As nothing happens. Nothing save for the sound of...
For God's sakes, what is he saying?
I'll reach over to the bucket, and I'm gonna reach over the bucket, say, "Hold your horses," and I'll gonna open up and get his head out of whatever it's in. Where it's I think it's his
Okay.
stocking or something.
Basically, the head was face down.
Oh.
And he'd been shouting face down into the bucket by the looks of it. At which point, I just need to find the damn... how do you pick the head out?
I'd say I'd probably just reach down in and grab like on either side of the head, like around the ears.
Okay, facing toward you or away? Just for visuals.
I'll pick it up and face it toward me so he can speak.
Okay, as soon as you lift it up, he just bellows into your face, incredible for a man that no longer has lungs. Ci vanno per il mondo, per la fornire dell'anima, ameno! And with a final vowel of that beautiful symphony, can everyone roll me an endurance test, please?
Challenging.
Challenging.
Okay.
And this is just to see the physiological effect of what feels like a sledgehammer hitting your head as that large bell-like gong reverberates through your body. Detlef instantaneously flooring you. Unsurprisingly, I think. Dagmor just catching a wince of the flames and fires beginning to diminish. And as you look up, you just catch the blade of this creature just lower and draw back, the eyes looking down inside, and through the nostrils, one last puff of fuming, furious smoke at its prey being stuck inside a rather well-built monastery. And Gaspard, long enough to hold on to Elise as you pass out. And sadly, I now have to end my awesome music. Possibly the saddest point of this whole campaign. As you wake up somewhere far more peaceful. Where you were, battered, charred, pieces of the ceiling all around you, but there is no fire for the first time in what feels like a long time. You are alive, and everyone is in the circle, gradually rousing. Detlef, I think you may take a few more moments if you're happy to be disorientated for a mo.
I was kind of assuming Detlef would be unconscious.
Yeah.
Yeah, same for me, because I think I got hit by a ceiling tile earlier.
Yes. Basically, Gaspard and Martina awake, alongside a dreary Rosa. Wow.
Gaspard, Dagmar. Gaspard is me. Dagmar, Detlef. Quick, Martina, look after Dagmar. I will look after Detlef here.
Oh. I think I was in hell. Were you there?
Shut up, you silly woman. Look after Dagmar.
Right. Yes. Dagmar? She just begins kind of like shaking you gently. You kind of have a bleeding problem with Detlef, Gaspard, so... Was that...
It was to heal Detlef.
Was it average?
It's
because we just need to stop the bleeding right now.
It's challenging, so average would be
you are very, very close to... He's got 2 bleeding conditions so far, and I think that puts you on 1 SL, if I'm right?
2.
2? Okay, puts you on 2. You just manage to prevent enough blood loss that may have allowed him to slip away from you, and a rather pale-looking Detlef lays in front of you, out cold on the floor, temporarily at least. Wow. Dagmore? Dagmore? Just begins shaking and jostling. Yeah, you wake up. It's not too difficult to rouse you.
Grung near. Oh.
I think we're alive.
Oh, Martina.
I sit up and just kind of got my palm against my forehead, kind of pinching at my temples, wincing. Open my eyes, look around.
It hurts, so sounds about right.
And I quickly look to my sides. Are Alessandro's head and Otto's body, are they there?
Yes.
Okay. I visibly just look relieved.
We got him out.
Is
Are
he-
you okay, Dagmar?
Yeah, I'll be fine eventually. I'm just glad we got everybody out. How's that damn wizard doing?
You will be fine. I imagine that you will have a pretty heavy headache when he wakes up, but
You'd be surprised what that sumbitch is capable of. He damn took out a demon all himself. Can't believe
Rosa
it.
kind of waddles up as to speaking and just briefly kind of starts hugging Dietliv.
He stopped the wood from squishing me. It was nice.
I kind of look visibly surprised at that.
She has that face, and there's never an intuition test for any human being to tell this of like she wants to say something, but is not sure if she's allowed.
you doubt.
Can I make him better?
You can make him better. Sure, go ahead.
Isabella said I'm not supposed to do magic.
Ah, fuck that. She's dead now.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Isabella starts crying slightly in front of you. Little tears just kind of going down the side of her face. She's not the fearless girl that you had spoken to before.
Do you mean Rosa?
Rosa, apologies. Fucking all these names.
Oh, I know, dude. Don't worry. It's
They're all freaking Italian sounding. Kills me.
Just say the person you are talking to.
The child. Okay. She seems sort of visibly distraught for the first time. You've seen like fear grip her face.
Oh.
Don't worry about it. She was a demon. Now, come here. Do what you want. Do what you have to do. It
Okay.
will be alright. He's a wizard too, so it'll be fine.
It ain't magic, it's prayer, ain't it?
I say, nodding, trying to convince myself to be okay with this.
Have you convinced yourself?
I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. I'm
It's the necessary.
not
lie.
entirely sure either. I'm going to do one. I'm going to do one blind gem. Two hands just get laid like on the side of Diedlev's torso.
I don't know any press, so I just say Shalia. Shalia, 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 Shalia.
She's just kind of like rocking her hands back a little bit over the wound, where you assume would be absolute agony. But instead you see this like warm white glow underneath her hands. Dietlev, you're awake all of a sudden, unexpectedly. Holding onto your wound is Rosa, with particularly warm, fuzzy feeling hands. Comforting, I would say, not agonizing, and you don't actually feel any pain currently from your wound.
How long have I been out?
Not very long. Thank you.
But she's just gonna like jump on you and hug you.
Easy. I do have considerable injuries.
I fixed them.
And just squeezes you as hard as she can.
It doesn't hurt, I'm assuming?
No. You expect it to, and there's that anxiety, but like she squeezes you without a second thought, and it doesn't hurt. Amazingly.
I just want to check that my insides aren't still spilling out, or
Yeah, you tentatively lift up the cloth that Gaspard had placed there, and though you're covered in blood, there is what looks like a 6-month-old scar there instead.
And I would also like to... Is there much in the way of magic in the wind, as it were?
Around her, yes.
Mm,
Considerably.
as I suspected. She's a witch! Burn her!
Oh no. I'm suspecto.
So, waking up, like, do I just have her in front of me, or are the
Everyone
others
else is there. Everyone else is there. It's just she's kind of taking up the immediacy of your vision, given she's like imposing her hugs on you.
Yeah, and I'm kind of looking over at you, and I have like a little smirk on my face, and I said,
Well, you're awake. You just single-handedly slew a demon, and shit, you saved a little girl too. Not bad.
I do believe I used both hands for those things, but not inaccurate.
Take a compliment when it's given.
I say, and I look away, kind of cross my arms.
We appear to be out of immediate danger? Yes?
Hope so.
I say, looking around.
Looks so.
And Mr. Gaspard has ceased his attempt to destroy doors?
I look to Gaspard.
Have you?
I am tired. But I think, I mean, the body of Otto is there, right?
Yep.
It's not.
There.
He's not moving or saying anything. He's just
Yeah,
dead.
he's very dead.
He's
Yeah.
very dead.
Well, he kicks his feet maybe, and then I think we should get as far away from this place as possible, as quickly as possible.
Right, I don't know much about the structural integrity of this place after what just happened. Last place we was in collapsed after this big old demon attacked it.
I say, and I reach over, and I grab Otto's wrists to help help Gaspard with the other end of him.
No, he's kicking his feet. He's not picking them up.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll grab the wrist, and I'll start dragging him out of the room then.
Leave him.
He's got to get taken to a, what do y'all call it, the moor places they take people.
Yeah, that's days from here. I'm not taking him. I mean, leave him here.
I suspect that you both don't have too much more time here before you're called away. So, is Martina here?
Yes, she is currently knelt there, just holding in a very Shakespearean manner onto Alessandro's head, just looking utterly bewildered.
Therefore, I have a proposal. And he looks at Martina.
Yes?
You will become the ward for this young girl here. And myself, you, and Rosa will travel back. to pay a visit to my teacher. I suspect that Rosa will not only be safer, but also instructed much better there. And we'll see about settling her down.
Well, I think I should rise to the occasion then.
I suspect you will.
Gentlemen, I have a question, if I may.
Certainly.
Who are you?
Well, I'm Dagmord. Come from a Carrick. Just working on fulfilling a contract. I'm a miner, prospector. This here's Gaspar. Well,
Why are you here? She just interrupts you, like, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah. I just kind of stammers a second, surprised to be interrupted by her. So,
Well, carriage driver dropped us off here from our last place we came across and told us to check in on Rosa. Thought it was his kin or something. So we did. One thing led to another.
But you know all this. We told you before.
One doesn't always believe what one's told. And I feel like there is something... Perhaps I am not so cursed after all. Seems your luck is far worse than mine.
You can say that again.
That sounds about right.
I say, rubbing my head, remembering the ceiling tiles.
Outside there is just the break of daylight, and you can hear a couple of birds starting to cheep. Time in what feels like days.
I'm going outside. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm taking Elisa.
Yep.
How is she, by the way? Is she awake or?
She seems in her recuperative state, pretty much out cold, clammy, sleeping. Still breathing, and as you hold her, there's like occasional mumbles and murmurs. But a long way from conscious.
Mr. Gaspard, if you wish, I would be willing to take the young lady with me, and Rosa and Martina. Set her up in the city.
I think it is time that I take her home.
Yeah, that's his kin.
I only offer it I only offer such an offer as gratitude for both of you essentially helping to keep us alive and get through the worst of what happened. It is my suspicion you may not want to take anyone with you.
Yeah, your help is much appreciated, but I must travel this path alone, I'm afraid. But little girl, Rosa, maybe you can do your shiny hands thing on Elisa for me?
She gives you like a really big cheesy grin. I've never had a friend. Okay. Shadia, 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 shadia. She just sort of begins her gentle, sweet rocking as if a child making up a nursery rhyme for the first time. Perhaps you suspect the words don't have too much influence on what's happening. Or maybe they have all the influence. Who can tell? But that same white glow emanates under her hands, and the breathing of Eliza gets heavier. The point she opens her eyes.
Hello, mon petit. Ma petit, should be.
Hello, Gaspard.
She just kind of looks left and looks right.
Where am I?
You are safe. Did you have a good dream?
Not really. It was very long and hot.
You see this girl? Her name is Rosa. She healed you.
Oh. Thank you, Rosa. Merci.
While they're talking, I pull a sheet off of one of the beds and pull it over Otto and as well as Alessandra's head because I don't want them to see this any more than they have to.
Now, Eliza, I have something to ask you. I will be going to Bretonia now. To our kin. If you wish, I will take you with me. Or you can stay here with Rosa here. She's about your age. You can be friends.
I think it is better to be with me now that...
And she just has the look of, like, shock as her eyes widen.
Is Uncle Elman dead?
I'm afraid so.
He was an ass anyway.
Yeah, vraiment.
True.
Well, it is decided. We will go to Bretonia and look up your maman.
And you better find me an husband, one who's willing to put up with me, with only one leg.
It will be fine. You're better off than most peasants anyway.
Okay. I guess I have got all of my things. I'm ready.
On y va. Gaspard starts walking. Oh, one last thing. Perhaps you have like a crutch here somewhere? He asks Martina, like for the infirm. Or how to walk?
Yes, of course. Well, a minute later, she arrives back with one.
Yeah, here you go, my petit. We shall go little bits. Now, Dagmar, are you coming or?
Of course, I'm just getting old Otto and Alessandra out of here. I say I'm just still dragging by the hands. I drag them out of the room, and if we're heading out, I'll take them outside.
Sure. Outside, there is a harrowing sight waiting for you. Clippity-clop, clippity-clop. It's the noise of hooves pulling a cart by them as they draw up outside of your temple. This time with two drivers, a man and a woman. A man in dark, smart attire, the woman beside him dressed entirely in white, wearing a veil over her face.
Gaspard walks, as he walks out into the courtyard, he sees this, pauses for just a moment, and then starts forward again.
I see it, and I actually don't really look surprised. I reach into my bag and pausing for a moment, I pull out a piece of paper and I look to Dietlov and I say, Dietlov, can you get word back to
there any way you can get word back to my people?
Depends who your people are.
It's Carrick. You find the particulars on this this here contract. Well, my family's supposed to send one of us out to do some prospecting for some high and mighty noble ungi. And I say, looking over my shoulder back at the cart, looking then to Dietliv, something tells me I ain't gonna get to come through on that contract. I wondered if you could take it back to them and see if they could send someone else out.
If it's possible to do, it will be done.
I'd appreciate that. I say, and I actually look very serious, actually appreciative. I reach out with the document in one hand, and out from my other hand for a handshake.
Yeah, D-Love takes the document and takes his hand at the same time.
Yeah, I go firm grip and shake, kind of nodding while I do it, and hand it off. Thanks, sir. I think this is us.
I'm not sure where you're going, but good luck.
Neither are we, I reckon.
Gaspard, if I may, did you say you were sort of nodding your head and walking away?
No, he paused a bit and then went towards the
Apologies, just wanted to clarify. Okay, sorry, Dagmore.
Yeah, and I'll walk closer over to the carriage and address the man and the woman on it and ask,
Sir, ma'am, I don't know, y'all able to, y'all heading by any gardens, a moor? We got a bit of, a body we need dropped off somewhere ahead.
He looks at the body for a second and smiles.
By all means. Perhaps the trunk is more suited. Please,
Sir.
allow me.
He just sort of hops off and lifts the bodies up with relative ease.
Please, gentlemen. Food is inside the cart.
Much obliged. Y'all know where we're headed this time?
A matter for discussion. Please, there is, I believe you refer to it as Bugman's.
Right. Well, unless there's anything else business to attend to, I say, looking both to Gaspard as well as to Dietliv, Martina, and the girls.
Safe travels.
You too, wizard. Take care, Dietliv. I give him a nod.
Yeah, nod back.
and I get into the carriage.
Gaspard is standing there with Elisa, and he hears what the coachman said and sees Dagmar get in, and then he waits a bit, and then he helps Elisa into the carriage, and then sets one foot on the first step of the carriage, pulls himself up and waits a bit, looks over his shoulder at the people standing there. Slight nod, and then gets in the coach.
Okay. Not yet in the coach. He'd have a coachman walks up to you.
I thank you for your services, sir.
So long to serve.
My regards to your master, and
Pulls from his pocket a card face down and offers it to you.
if you would like.
Not right now, thank you. Maybe later.
Very well.
Withdraws it briskly. Pay attention to your dreams, Dietlev. I will see you again.
Dietlev, dips his head in kind of a semi-bow.
And, might I say, my daughter is grateful, though clearly you are not a follower of hers, perhaps more my father. But nevertheless, we are indebted. And goes to shake your hand.
Yeah, I take the hand. A little bit hesitantly, but try not to seem hesitant.
Okay. Feels like a firm grip, a warm hand, and a stern shake. And a brisk nod to follow. Good morn. So he whips 180 degrees, as only an educated man could, and begins to embark on the cart. A silent whip of the horses, and the cart begins to move forward. And Rosa and Elise both kind of looking somewhat bewildered, just kind of wave. Rosa at probably about 5 times, Martina and Rosa, I will get there. Rosa's waves are about 5 every second, her hands just sort of furiously waving back and forth. Martina's far slower and sort of with an inquisitive look on her face. Dietlev, any words to say, or...?
No. I think he'll stand there seeing everything off, and then my guess is that the camera, as it were, follows the carriage and not.
Does indeed.
Dietlev, Rosa, and Martina would fade.
Okay. Which brings me to inside of a cart with food, with a young Bretonnian damsel that you have rescued sat opposite, pouring herself a glass of wine.
This is quite nice.
Oui, it is. Enjoy the vin and the pain. And
Yeah, you weren't awake for it last time.
fromage.
Yeah, dig in.
Merci, Mr. Driver. Merci.
There's not so much of a response, but a few seconds later.
Myself and my daughter are grateful to you all.
Who's your daughter, sir?
She is sat here beside me.
Oh,
She prefers not to speak.
oh well. I won't insist. My apologies.
Are you perhaps going in the direction of Bretonia?
I am going many places. The question is, are you coming with?
Gaspard looks at Dagmar and says, Dagmar, my friend, it feels we have been traveling for centuries together, but
Don't it?
strangely it only has been a couple of weeks, maybe, or months, I don't know.
Yep.
But my path leads to Bretonia, and what is at the end, I don't know, but in between, I guarantee there is a lot of blood. And, you are welcome to travel with me, but Perhaps I will get off this coach somewhere along the way.
Wouldn't blame you if you did, sir. Well, Gaspard, you got your kin to look after. You need to find some place for her to get taken care of and get yourself some rest. Reckon you deserve it. Me, well, I think I'll just keep on riding.
Gentlemen, if I may. First, I would apologize for whisking you away like that. But the little girl needed you, and you will be rewarded amply. My question to you now is whether you would like to stay in my employ. I have work to do in Bretonia. As in the Carax, your god is rather upset with me. Here it's 12 dozen grudges currently, and let us say there is ample time to address all. But if you have had it with a life of adventure, there will be no contract, and you may return to your homes as you wish. But if you wish to stay, I can offer you something that many can't.
What do you think, Gaspard?
Well, you going to Bretonia?
Yes, I have some trouble on the border of Mousillon.
Mousillon, that is close to where I'm from. Close enough. Vraiment? Bon, on y va. It is decided.
Yep, I reckon I'll come assist. But as for your question, sir, Mr. Driver, sir, I reckon I'll stay in your employ, as long as you'll have me, as long as I can.
Marvelous. We will consider you on loan for now.
Right.
If there is something you require, I ask you simply dream of it.
Okay.
I say just kind of dismissively, thinking it's hogwash.
Well then, gentlemen, to Mousillon, where we have a few bodies to lay to rest.
Allez-y.
You hear a
Let's go.
yeah as the carriage picks up speed to a full canter for the first time. Though the ride is smooth and comfortable, the food is good, the ale is warm, and we wrap up our Tillian Foire, our adventure to the warm, and head somewhere a little bit more French.
True hell.
Indeed. Oh no, let's go for Giuseppe's sounds. Perfect music to conclude, and this would put us into the after party of our show, as technically we have concluded all that there is to conclude. There may be questions to ask, but there is an open book. Still pages left to write. More to come.
Well,
indeed.
Well.
Well. So, everyone talk freely. I don't need to do sort of drama mode anymore, so we'll just have a little chat and chill out for probably half hour to wrap things up. I always like a little bit of a concluding chill. I find it just
nice to unwind and decompress.
Yeah, leaves a good sort of tone afterwards, I find. So, anyone have any thoughts at all?
Well, I wonder how things would have how things went if we picked the very first card we picked decided which of the ladies were being torn apart in hell.
Yes.
Were the other lady?
Yes. That would have been very different.
Yeah.
That would have been very different.
Well done, Dagboard. We could have got to the truth so much
Could have
quicker.
got to the truth. Yeah. I will pull up at this point that the word magic was written next to Isabella's name on several pages. Perhaps not direct accusation, as Dagmore has exclaimed, but maybe. The dwarf was not entirely thorough in his notes, but I'd praise you all for creating such backstories for these NPCs, because they were really a product of your investigation as much as my imagination. So, you know, it's the credit is shared, and as should be, because Isabella wouldn't have had that story if you hadn't have asked, and that's how I see it. As I prefer the Schrödinger approach to investigations. At least if you hadn't have asked, it wouldn't have been there. So well done for asking lots of questions and coming up with lots of thoughts and ideas, which I think painted quite a nice scene and picture of a bunch of people in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Trying to be left alone.
Yeah, the NPCs in this one are really great.
Yeah, I'm kind of grateful I didn't have to play an old lady that was miserable for a lot of it, because in a sense...
You get enough of that in your daily life.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have been very Monty Python.
Yeah, you would have had a miserable Italian sort of babushka. So yeah, that would have been...
Babushkas, of course, being Italian.
In my... I mean, it's babushko. There you go, now it's Italian. Yeah, sorry for butchering the Italian language, but it's a great language and it's a great accent. I can't do it justice, but it's a beautiful thing. Tilia doesn't get enough love.
Yeah, it's very immersive with the Italian vibe and the characters and the accents and the names and all.
The music.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
music was great.
I always thought of Tilia being a little bit kind of like having a kind of Louisiana like Cajun vibe for some reason. I don't know why.
I mean, it could do.
Yeah.
It could do.
Well,
It's,
the Tilia and Estalia, I think they used to be one country, and but it was civilized before Sigmar, really. So should have been all
ancient civilizations. I mean, it's Spain and Rome. Spain and Italy,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
But two glorious nations. Perhaps we'll go to Estalia at some point. Perhaps I'm interested in your choice to go to Pretonia. That's cool.
Yeah, maybe some. You want some background information on why and how Dagmar decided. Jesus, how
How are you doing it now?
I've started it. I've started it.
You got through the whole campaign, and then right at the end, you dagboard yourself.
Yeah. But Gaspard is he started the career. His starting career was an artist, and in my mind, the backstory was that he left Bretonia because he was in the town, and he and his master did art, and they were like all kind of modern art things and progressive and avant-garde, and the lords weren't interested in it because they're boring and shit, and the peasants weren't interested in it because they're uncultivated. So they got mad, and a lord ordered a painting, and he did some kind of realist thing, you know, which didn't agree with the Lord, and he killed his master, and Gaspard had to leave and flee the country, and got more and more disgruntled with Bretonia as he went through the country and saw the peasants and the nobles and the very class-like society. And it stuck in the back of his mind all this while. And yeah, so he's got that pent-up anger. So that's why he went with the corn thing.
Some questions coming in chat we can muse over. Jeremy's asked, are you both dead and working for more? We don't know. So
don't know.
I'm afraid we haven't tested that theory.
Might be when it started, but I think if they're working for a god, it's pretty sure that Gaspard is working for a different god now.
Quite possibly. Quite possibly. Quite possibly. Here's a point of curiosity. If and as and when you sleep, by all means tell me if you'd like to come back to this. If you fall asleep in this cart, which it will be a sort of a day-night cycles journey, what do you think your characters might dream of? And specifically if there's anything they want for or need for. Like, I would say the sky's the limit. But realistic.
Yeah, I think with the demonic offering still in his head and in his recent, that Gaspard's dreams will be filled with going to the town where he was ran out of, and then just slaying everyone there and killing the Lord and taking his throne or something, and maybe also finding Elise's mother and installing her there on the throne or something like that. I don't know.
Okay. Details can be coloured in at a later date.
Dagmor's probably dreaming of having a higher agility. Better dodge roll.
Becoming the most agile dwarf in human history.
Yes. Yeah,
in dwarven history.
Ceiling tiles like Neo or something.
Yeah, okay. So is he just having nightmares about being hit by things from above?
Yes. He's gonna wake up with his head hurting like repeatedly, thinking like you fall and you wake up thinking you're falling. It's like that.
So what you're saying is you want to start next campaign as an acrobat?
Yes.
A dwarven acrobat.
Dagboard's back home with his like underground mine dwarven place, except for all of the dwarves and all of his family and everyone. It just has Dietlev's face.
Oof.
Oh my god.
Bad dreams. Bad dreams.
Oh goodness.
Bad dreams.
It was interesting playing Dagmord. As far as with the end of the campaign, what was interesting for me was I kind of went with more of a show don't tell approach as far as my reasonings for things.
Yeah.
Because it crossed my mind to be like, here is why I am doing the thing I am doing, but then I was like, I'll just explain it after if anybody didn't understand things. Like it'll make more sense, especially as a dwarf. It'll make more sense to not go, here's my feelings,
Sure.
But yeah, it was basically at the end, he's given up on attempting to complete the contract because he has, even though that's one of the most important things to a dwarf is fulfilling their promises. He's handed off to someone that he believes will get it fulfilled by his family, but believes that he has effectively a once in a lifetime, as some might say, opportunity to do something that almost no one else gets to do. He's basically getting, as far as he can tell, he's getting sent to in the middle of the shit where he can make a difference, kind of thing. And so he's going for it.
So
he doesn't expect to survive.
Well, yeah. And technically, I mean, since the point of view traveling at the beginning of the first campaign, it's only been 2, maybe 3 day-night cycles.
Yeah.
That's all the time that's passed. So it's really been a long weekend.
He doesn't expect it. Yeah, he really doesn't expect this to ever end.
I mean, from what you can recall, that's all you've been through. So it's kind of like, imagine what you could do in a week.
True. Yeah. Took out Gaspard and Dagward, and everybody's been taking out a witch. Saved Elisa, and now saved several more people.
If you can dodge a roof tile, you could dodge a bull. I'm sorry, that's a great. Jeremy, you always kill me. I'm going to throw wrenches at Dagmore next campaign. I haven't even got wrenches yet, but someone has asked what's Rosa's sort of preferred winds of magic. Someone put out a very good point regarding techless earlier, and it's a bit of Warhammer canon, and it's a very good question to ask, is what is the difference between a priest that can perform miracles and a wizard? Techless's view is that there isn't a difference.
Yeah.
And
even according to the how it was intended, on the people that wrote the Warhammer lore, basically.
Indeed. So it might come as a surprise to some as such, but I mean, gods, magic, kind of hard to separate the two, let's say. And if you're communicating with the gods, it would be via that. So, or at least that's a way to visualize it. So, as for colours, some combination of white, green, blue, because I can't remember exactly canonically what would make most sense.
Light or green, indeed.
Whichever one Shalia would be more into, which I think would be light life.
Yeah. Combination of things.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit of blue hanging around for more. I'll stop that sentence there. Just hanging around for Moorish reasons. Who knows?
Banned. In Magic the Gathering, green, white, and blue was banned.
Gotcha. I've never played. Never indulged. Interesting cocktail of people that lived at the end, and at least some people lived at the end, which was good. There could have been a lot more people alive at the end if you hadn't have killed some of them.
I didn't mention that about Otto, and as far as the reasoning behind saving Otto, in character, my character hadn't inspected him, didn't know if he could be saved, not just trying to get him out of there. But as far as once he sees how messed up he is, basically at that point Dagmore's just devoted to keeping him from getting taken by the demons, because he saw what happened to Isabella. He did not want that to happen to him, and even though he didn't particularly like Alessandro, he did not want that to happen to him either.
Important note, actually, Dietlev will take their bodies to
a garden of moor.
Buried.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
And was Margarita an assassin before coming to the church?
I think it was implied.
I thought she was a mercenary.
Yeah, it's. I'd say perhaps a line between the two, but.
Sheepy, always been an assassin.
Yeah, I don't like. I don't like to go for every detail, but yeah, I think that was kind of implied, like assassin, mercenary, maybe bounty hunter, but there were certainly implications of her deeds being particularly dark, and from what she had said as well, the beginning of her life was dedicated to death. So, it's she was pretty badass.
The beginning of Dietler's life was dedicated to death too.
Yeah, true. What's he going to dedicate the rest to? Just yoga?
Yeah, yoga, calisthenics.
Yep.
Might start a yoga lattes class.
Keto diets and no demons. Yeah.
Speaking of Dietler, just there are a couple of questions I can't answer, but if it's of interest, I could say what Dietlev was doing there and why, and
sure.
So Dietlev was sent to the area because his wizardry master, Amethyst master, was quite ill and had heard of miracle healings in the area and around the temple and etc. And was like, hey, D-Liv, go check that out. Maybe bring, see the validity of it. I'd like to get healed, kind of thing. Which was why he was there. And luckily for him, he's got a miracle healer that he's taking back.
Yeah.
Weird how that worked out, I guess.
Yeah, that's turned out nice. That will probably get you some brownie points.
Yeah.
At the very least. Giuseppe prequel, yeah, sure. Yeah, it's... we did the first of these 2 campaigns with all serious, miserable characters, so I just wanted someone silly in there. Also to pre-arm the tone that the combat would also maybe turn not humorous, but also not entirely horrific. Like, I wanted that element of Tarantino, I guess, in there, where it's kind of it's more badass action, kind of like the way you didn't want the Resident Evil films to go, but it would have actually been kind of cool to roleplay it out. Didn't make for great films, but would make for good TTRPGs, basically. So that was he was fun, and Suspecto.
He will get missed.
Santiago as an old man. That's possible. Yeah. From our Rat Pack campaign. Yeah. Any other thoughts or feelings? Stick them in the chat. We'll probably give it another 10 minutes of chill and chat. There ain't any schedules to stick to. I will go to the toilet actually and let you guys just muse for a bit and chat how bad I am.
Yeah. Well, some interesting things that happened through these sessions. I really like your approach, particularly to the death magic as a more philosophical standpoint.
When we decided to go with Amethyst magic, the Amethyst wizard, I decided to look into it, and I found out, saw the connection between moor and the death, and how it's quite difficult for them because they have to walk the line of dedicating themselves to death magic but not necromancy.
Yeah.
And so I thought he'd have a much more strict set of codes and what's okay and what's not okay. So
I also like that because of that he took it was no, hey dudes, I'm neutral. I'm just looking what's going on, and then trying not to get involved with the thing with the first demon attack. That really I really like that when he said, "Well, I'm just gonna look what happens."
What did I miss?
Yeah. It's very hard as a player to do things against your instincts.
Yeah.
As a player, you always want to be the hero, the good guy.
Yeah.
You always want to and I'm just hold on, it's fine. Just don't jump in like a big damn hero.
But because of that inaction at that point, it was a great contrast with the moment that you decided to behead Alessandro. It was so it was fitting, but it was sort of magnified by the previous inaction, and that's why Gaspard, it had such an effect on him, because that's basically what tipped him over the edge to go bananas.
Wow, that's a big weight to play on D-Liv. You turned me to corn.
Well, no, it's not him.
I'm joking, but
that,
yeah.
That moment. That moment.
Yeah. No,
And
fair
the
enough.
dude with the scythe comes around the corner and cuts somebody's head off.
I
Fuck
did-
yeah, let's do it.
I like the holy trinity of Dietlevs, which was, as you say, the not participating, the participating by cutting someone's head off, and the participating by saving the little girl. So we had 3 completely different responses that all felt right in the moment, and they were in the order that's satisfying with regard to storytelling. So I like that. Because if you let the little girl get squished, that would have sucked.
Yeah, like it was one of those things where, like, obviously I did like the little nod to the fact that Dietlev didn't go along with the fortune teller.
Yeah.
You know, like, he chose a card and was still like, yeah, but still. So he's not like a dedicate follower or anything, but at the same time, he did pick a card. So
Indeedy.
And I'm sure like all y'all already knew this, but like I just had an idea because like while listening, I googled something real quick because I had a theory. And I'm sure, obviously, Hydra probably won't confirm this because it's one of those "woo, was it" things. But with the cart driver said the girl in white was his daughter. And like, I was like, I wonder if the cart driver is Moor, you know. And then I googled who is Moor's daughter, and it says Shalia. I'm like, So,
Dun dun dun.
yeah. So there's that little possibility. So that's fun.
That's nice to.
Who was his son? Is that Manan?
Oh.
I think you mentioned.
Verena's his wife.
Yeah.
And yeah, I believe.
I think it's Manan. Yeah.
His father is Tal?
Oh wait. Yeah.
Question mark. Is Manan his brother? And both of them children of Tal?
Yeah.
I
They're
think.
all children of each
Yeah. It's yeah. They're all fucking inbred.
Oh yeah. Jeremy asks who appeared to honor that he thought was Sigmar.
Oh. Well, I think it's no spoiler that it was just it was a demon of Khorne that appealed to his lack of of everything, basically, except for words. And it was a case of preying on the weak, which is maybe not Khorne's forte, but I can use you to get inside this temple and smash some stuff up. The thing is that if you've got a weak-minded person, they might not be like Khorne's chosen champion, but you'll still be tempted by their offerings. The way I see it is their offerings are there for everyone to take.
Yeah.
It's not like they will only select the really brave macho chads. So basically, he was a coward. He was kind of like the lion from the Yellow Brick Road, and he got offered a heart, and all he had to do was drink what was in the vial. But as soon as the thing appeared, he bowed down and didn't want to look at it because he didn't think he was worthy of looking at it, and said, "Yeah, okay." And then, to try and be nice, he wanted to share the heart with everyone else.
Yeah.
Which he did.
I wonder what would have happened if he did drink the blood.
I was wondering that, because you would have had a very brave Otto all of a sudden, and fearless Otto, which would have been basically more like Carl von Bonbon from the other campaign. He just would have been like token camp thespian, but brave and flirty, I would say.
the butler did it.
The butler did it. The butler accidentally did it.
Yeah. I pitied Otto.
Yeah,
He did nothing. He did was with malice or anything like that.
Yeah. I wanted something a little different, and
he was just ignorant, like a silly peasant, and Also, he was a lawyer and they squirm.
Well, that's true. The group did do some pressing earlier on with regard to Otto, but
Yeah, I like that.
the obstacle was that he truly believed that that was Sigmar that he had approached, and he wanted to keep it a secret because he didn't want anyone to know that that was maybe him that had brought these miracles here, because he wanted the credit to all go to the holiness of the church, to try and basically satisfy his own need for redemption. So yeah, basically don't be a weak person, because you'll just get everyone killed.
Yeah.
That I guess is the... And then you'll get stabbed in the eye after you finally finished your redemption arc by a Frenchman.
For no damn reason.
No damn reason other than fuck yeah. Damn actors.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there was reason.
Yeah.
He's an actor. Any other sort of closing thoughts from the players? Any?
I just had a fantastic time. It was a pleasure to play alongside everybody. Just awesome campaign, great immersion. Kept me guessing. A lot of fun. I'm not even a fan of combat, but all the combats were interesting. Had a lot of variation, fun stuff. Loved it.
Yep.
Yeah, well done in the combats too. So I think even considering half of the penultimate session and half of the final session were combat, it was still, at least I felt, entertaining combat. Things were happening, you were doing things, there was a myriad of different obstacles to overcome, small challenges, big challenges, and I yeah, you guys did good with the things that you did, rather than, roll a dice and I cast fist. It was more of a story unfolding within the fight, which is still ideal.
Almost try to paint a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, and lots of split combats too, which is impressive on the GM side.
Yeah.
Keep track of all that shit, time it.
It was split the party all the time, actually.
Every time.
Much, yeah. It did make some challenges, but it also made for more interesting fights. Like having Deetlef fight someone on his own was way more interesting than having three of you there.
Yeah.
Like with Gaspard outside being Achaidh, that was amazing, because that was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And poor Dagmar, like scraping his way up the steps, getting beaten up, then trying to just get down the corridor and tiles falling on him. I'm sorry, bud, but also awesome. But yeah, well played to everyone.
Exciting.
You guys, the GM gives you stuff, and then you make it happen. So yeah, pat yourselves on the back.
Liked all the NPCs, well played. Liked all the players, characters, also well played. And I have a question for Dagmar. I have a question for Deetlef first. Will you at some point reprise your character? Because I'm interested to see.
I wouldn't say no. It's less likely than coming back and doing something new. I like Deetlef, but he's one of those characters where it's like, if you've ever done a if you've ever done like a one shot, there's a lot different work that goes into a one-shot character than goes into like a campaign character.
Yep.
My worry for Deetlef would be like he's not really established enough to have length, and it'd be difficult to keep him going past the, he was essentially designed for this instance. Yeah. It would be a lot easier for me and much more comfortable to go with someone else, but that's possible.
Yep. And the question for Dagmort was, do you see yourself continuing traveling with Gaspard?
I would say if he's sticking with the Moor driver all the way, then yeah, I'd say so. He might suggest that Gaspard stay in Bretonnia because he thinks he may not be, I don't say cut out for it, because he's a better fighter than Dagmort is. But I don't know that Gaspard's heart is in it as far as the mission, so to speak.
Yeah.
Let's see what the mission is.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know any of your plans.
I didn't know where you were going until you told me, so
yeah.
So I didn't make plans. It was just.
Yeah. And I'm not sure yet, but we talked about this before. I think it will be more and more. The Gaspard will be a more and more annoying character to have in your campaign, and also less interesting to play. So I don't know if we will see him again.
Yeah, he could always stop off in Bretonnia after his next adventure, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, but I don't know. Deadites in Museum seem also very interesting. So.
True.
So, I have a quick question. One question for both Mr. Matt and Tuturus, and also a question for Hydra. So, for both of you, now that you've kind of like come to the end of these, well, for now at least, the end of these characters and playing them, do you have like a goal or an aim or a want for the next characters you play, or like the next thing you do? Because I always find like if I play a super goody two shoes character, the next one I want to play is completely different and totally.
Yeah, I was thinking that the other day. I was thinking, man, like as good as Dagmort is, I kind of want to challenge myself to play someone really sketchy, like really sketchy.
I'd love to see you grapple with being sketchy. Like a Deatlev character would be fun to see you wrestle with.
Yeah, I mean, because like my first character I played as was Jebediah, and he was fairly flighty when it came to fighting. He did stick his neck out a couple of times for teammates, but when it came to like civilians, like if it was a kid, he'd try to help him, but otherwise it was like, I don't want to get involved in that shit. I don't want to die.
Well, I always like to do random first and then see if it speaks to me. I mean, that's what we did with Dagmort.
Yep.
And Gaspard, I think. Well, Gaspard and Jesus, why?
Yeah.
Who started that?
Not me. I don't know. Don't look at me. Shut up.
But yeah. So and then something grabs you and you think, oh, this might be interesting. But today was I went for fried fish at one of those carts, and the dude behind the counter, and I thought, it would be cool as a fishmonger. That would be a cool character. Always these really typical people. So
get your fish, 2 for £1. Get your fish.
Yes, maybe something like that. Yeah.
Oh, good lord.
And my question for Hydra.
Yep.
Do you have any plans on what is next?
Well, you beat me to my question, which was a question to myself. So let me ask.
I wanted to set it up.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to ask you a question first before we do the outro, because you GM all of these things, and firstly, I haven't advertised neither Yoris's or Sheepy's channels, but you should check them out. I haven't even put them in the comments because I'm a racist. And but you should check out their channels because Yoris does lots of informative content on Warhammer Fantasy and how to use Foundry, etc., and on general roleplay
Mm.
shenanigans and tips and advice, I would say, which is all useful. And Sheepy does like 500 shows all at once.
I may have signed up for another show.
Yeah.
I'm not going to confirm all.
Are you a player or a GM? Because I'll tell you, that links to my next question, which is how did it feel to play?
It was really nice to be a player again. It's been like over a year since I've been a player.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that standard eternal GM thing. I love GMing.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more complicated than playing a character and just having to worry about your character.
Yeah. Sure. I don't know
it was awesome.
I don't know if it works the same way for you, but I prefer GMing, like, hands down. It's my preference, but I reflect on GMing almost more intensely when I'm playing.
I learn more as a player
Yeah.
about GMing than I do actually GMing.
Yes, yeah.
Which is
agreed.
always interesting. I pick up more. I steal from all the people who GM for me. Like I'm like, oh, this is a cool idea.
Yeah.
This is a cool way to do things. Steal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a segue.
One thing I picked up.
Yeah.
Because I totally agree with what Sheepy said there. One thing I picked up as a player is because as a GM, you're always, well, not always, but people are there's always the debate between railroad and sandbox. Probably most people will know that. But as a player, you can totally railroad the GM as well by just saying, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to fuck up the entire story or something, or I'm really going to press this or really playing that way. So there's a it's two ways there.
Yeah.
There's a
The GM drops rocks on your head or ceiling tile.
Yeah, but at the same in the same manner, a player can chuck rocks at the important NPC or something. So
yeah.
Cut the head off.
Cut the head off. I mean, it was. That was one of those situations where, let's say, the prayer was a mechanic that was there for the escape. It didn't have to be there. You could have done a ritual yourself, but it's like, well, okay, he's dead. What do we do? Oh, you're in hell. Well, he'll just carry on talking.
Yeah.
So it was kind of fortunate for me, but yeah, there was a few times in that you guys did stuff, and I'm like, But the thing that helped is I didn't really have too much in the way of plans, other than some rough scene ideas that things that could happen. Some of which did, and some of which never happened. So
that's what I mean. You if you have a very strict, tight plan as a GM, and the players decide to railroad you, you're stuck. So you need to let go of your plans.
Okay.
I always consider it spanner, like a spanner in the works.
Yeah, just kill that or delete that piece of data or whatever that you need to open the next door, or
not go there, go somewhere else.
Yeah, go around that room that you think is dangerous, despite the fact the GM's like waving his hands, being like, "Hey, you should really go here. It's really important."
Yeah,
and you're like, no, miss me with that room.
It's like how when you play a character in Warhammer or Warhammer 40k, if you go too religious, you'll end up role-playing yourself into a position where you have to like kill another party member or another player's character, because you're like, this is what my character would do. You gotta be like flexible and fluid with your roleplay, and don't allow yourself to like roleplay into a corner. It's the same with GMing, where like it's always really good to have like soft challenges, where it's like, if you build very rigidly a scenario where you need a key that one person has, and they like burn the person alive in their house, and that person's dead and they have no idea where the key is and it's buried under rubble, and they've got no idea that it's there, then you're like, okay, well then they're never getting into this room, they'll never progress. And you can do like an angel descending from heaven and going, look over here, you fuckers, the key's down here. But
I had to do that with some perception rolls for Dagmar.
That can be a little bit janky, where you're just that's
Deus Ex.
Fair enough. So
I've got a question for you, Hydra.
Okay, we're rolling with questions. It's fine.
Yep. He said far too early to ask, but any plans to keep a second game playing besides the Lustia? My answer is Lustia is going to finish soon, and probably in the new year, maybe first week of January. I don't know. But the question to you is because you said earlier something about this doing it on Friday, Hydra.
Yes, maybe. Unconfirmed, but I may move my slot back to Fridays.
So that's the answer to the
Perhaps
question.
we
from
might
the
do
chat.
we might do a switcheroo. Unconfirmed, but
Yeah, and a break over the holiday.
yes, break over the holiday. I'll come back in a moment to my plan, so I'm going to keep everyone waiting for that. All 9 of you, of which like four of them are us. But anyway, so here's a question to throw back to the 2 GMs in the chat, and this isn't fishing for compliments, but more of like, okay, what in this made you think, and about what? So with your GM brains that are always active while you're playing, is there anything that while you've been playing in this you've been sort of contemplating in regard to, like, have you got any ideas that now you're kind of you want to try, or something you want to tinkle with, or can you say what it is?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like, oh hey, you inspired me, but is it like, is there any like thoughts you had during a moment?
Well, definitely. I think Sheepy had something.
TJ, you go first.
Oh, okay. Well, the setting, keeping it small with only a couple of NPCs. That's what I take. I always thought, and to my experience, the modules I've played, like official modules, are always sort of intricate, because the Warhammer modules tend to be like multi-level, multifaceted storylines woven
multi-thread
together. Yeah, and so I like that, and that's always how my own homebrew stuff has been. Mainly because I thought, well, just a couple of people in a room can't be interesting, and well, you proved me wrong there. So
that's something I often battle back and forth with to multi-thread or not, because I could have given Martina like a whole thread of things she was doing here, but
yeah,
my thoughts on it is that it is great, especially if you've got a group that don't have a specific thing they want to do, but my experience of it is often that one thing gets picked up on, but you end up getting lots of threads that you think are related to the main thing you're doing, and quite often there's a sensation of there being loads of stuff you've missed, which is kind of intentional, clearly, but I find at times it can be a bit less satisfying in comparison to knowing that you've got like 80% of a map explored. I'm sure there's times for both to be completely appropriate, but well, that's something I think about a lot. I have to say I'll probably stick with this format for the time being, at least, until I change my mind and do something else. But for now, I like the six NPCs, give or take, maybe 8.
Yeah.
At least if it's going to be 4 or 5 sessions.
I think that small NPC count really helps with I guess I'd call it intimate.
Yeah.
That you kind of care more about the NPCs. There's more weight to when one of them dies, or if you have to kill one, or if you have to save one or something.
Yeah, and you get to know them all a bit, except for the ones that you choose to be murdered because
they're old.
because you picked them. Okay. And Sheepy, anything going through those little grey cells?
Yeah, so going off what was said with the small focus, I'm been working on an idea and thinking. I won't go into details of like exactly how I'm going to do it, but I'm like, I'd love to run a show which is just in one room.
Yeah.
And no one leaves.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Like that feels like a really fun challenge, and something that could really get interesting. Probably wouldn't be a super long one, but then again, my brain is like, but that's a challenge too, making it a really long.
100 episodes, let's go.
Yeah, 100 episodes, one room.
I was going to say, you got the Silent Hill, the room, but then he kind of leaves the room and they cheat anyway, so that doesn't count.
It's got to be like in the room, and I have ideas.
There's some good horror films of stuff set in one room. I don't just mean I'm thinking that there's this goddamn hotel one, like room something like.
Oh yeah, 107, 108.
Yeah, like
Stephen
that.
King story.
Yeah, fucking Stephen King. Only Stephen King would do that. Such an interesting film and a shit ending. Only Stephen King could pull off such an interesting premise and such a bad ending.
Yeah. Wow, like Stephen King stuff, quite often his stuff works on paper.
Oh yeah.
And then it just doesn't work when it's translated.
Yeah, he comes up with amazing premises and just there's so much G, wouldn't it be cool if, that it just doesn't tie together at the end for me ever, or hardly ever. But that's a whole thing. Okay, so that's cool.
The other thing that isn't a me thing, but it's a me wanty thing. I've mentioned this to you, but I'm gonna say it here too. I really want to see Hydra run either Call of Cthulhu, or Alien.
Yep.
I think both of those would be really interesting run by you. So like I also want to run those because I'm in the vibe of that kind of like deal.
Yeah.
But
of those two, I would say Cthulhu because it's D100.
But
and
it's most like Warhammer with the insanity and stuff,
Yeah. I like the video game actually for it that I played last. That kind of got me interested in it.
At the same time, like a Hydra run Alien show, like how cool would that be?
Well, now we'll talk about something that kind of bridges both of those, because we're going to move on.
It's almost like I slightly set it up.
It's almost because you're a sly little Dietlev. That's what you are. I'm going to be moving over to Dark Heresy with a similar format to this. I won't say the exact format because it's TBC, but we're effectively going to go for some small-ish. Probably one or two just to break up this, so we're not doing endless Warhammer Fantasy, but I'm going to be doing a Dark Heresy homebrew, which will be largely Warhammer Fantasy rules in this system, because it just works better than the old Dark Heresy system, as far as I'm concerned, in every way. It's just more fluid and blah. I'm not going to commit to settings or ideas because I actually have some thoughts, perhaps, to let the players have a one idea I have, I'm not going to commit to this right now, is actually to have like a mission board where so you can basically tell me the biome you're going to and the type of, let's say, mission it is, and then I'll create something. Just as a maybe. So it'll be Dark Heresy. I'll say that much. So it will still be investigative. It'll basically be the same tone as this one, but probably a little less like awesome action, look at me fight stuff, because it'll be more like this 40k fuck you.
A bit more intrigue, bit more
bit less fighting.
Who done it?
Yeah, bit more fighting, maybe some gunshots. Who knows? But that's the plan. We'll move over to Dark Heresy homebrew, and I don't know who the players are because I may well do a little rotation because I've got a Discord of people that are that aren't playing currently, and we might even turn some webcams on for it, so that we might maybe.
I have really enjoyed the animated avatars.
Yeah, I'd be quite happy keeping them. I would just need a plethora of images for the back to keep it interesting, which is my main obstacle. So cameras kind of mean I don't have to make maps. So the alternative is we just basically pick biomes I have maps for. So you have the choice of spaceships or monasteries, or Catachan jungles, which
spaceship monasteries.
Spaceship monasteries. Yep. Jungle monastery spaceships, and I'm kind of leaning towards a Catachan starting point, because I think who wouldn't like to just start off on a death world with their fresh character.
As long as Slime Marbo is looking over us.
Oh god, Slime Marbo.
So yeah, that's the plan. Mix it up with some 40k because I know there's loads of sweaty 40k nerds out there, and lots of people in the Discord that are.
I feel attacked.
Well, there's a certain amount of sweat that comes with 40k. I'm sorry, and in a good way. So yeah, I want to bring in some of the Dark Heresy fans that won't dare give Warhammer Fantasy a go because of their beards. That's not for you either, Sheepy. That's just
I shaved. It's fine.
Okay. There you go. I didn't even know.
Every time I see it.
So I'm gonna rope in the 40k fans, and then I'm gonna pin them down, and then I'll make them watch Fantasy again in the future. And
Sneaky.
That's the plan. That's the plan. Well, stay sassy, everyone, and I think we'll call it there. As I don't see any more questions for now. 1940s gangster voice combined with Mickey Mouse. Yeah. More Jewish gnomes could be coming at you, but probably not for the next. I mean, a rattling could sound like that, I guess, in 40k. That would be hilarious. Okay, that's my next campaign. Fuck Dark Heresy.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of rattlings.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Too much fun.
Aren't rattlings 40k?
Yeah. So basically, everyone's a rattling though. So it's like a Skaven campaign, but everyone's a rattling.
Yeah. I do still want a Skaven campaign.
So everyone says that. I can't bring myself to run it though because
it would be a one shot.
Yeah. 1 shot, 2 shot.
Yeah.
But turns into 3 shot, 4 shot.
I accept that challenge.
Okay, well, fair enough. All right, ladies and gents, take care of yourselves, and thanks for stopping on by. Any questions, leave them in the comments. Make sure you do leave a comment for the algorithm. Don't say the word cracker because it can get you banned on Twitch now, even if it is the most appropriate thing to eat with cheese. And remember to like and subscribe. Ciao.
Arrivederci.
Farewell.